I've shared numerous videos on this topic. I've also shared biblical scriptures that prove that it's nothing more than an illusion on the vast majority of today's women. Now, this video is most likely going to get me trash talk, and I couldn't care less, because I'm one for speaking up regardless, and I'm still going to speak up. And it's also bound to be appreciated by those that are actually, in fact, wanting to hearken on to the truth and see it for themselves. And I don't know how many more times I have to share information regarding this topic, but you can bet your bottom dollar that this is going to be the nail slamming that coffin door shut permanently once and for all. For any woman to delude herself into believing that she has power over the man, or better yet, for a woman to delude herself into believing that she is the head of the marriage, you need to give your heads a good shake. Pause for the peace and quiet. But yeah, you need to give your heads a good shake, because you're living in fantasy land. Let me tell each and every one of you that much. And the only guys that you're most likely going to attract with this mindset are those that are just basically willing to pump and dump your ass. Again, it's going to get me hated, this talk, guaranteed, and I couldn't care less. But I'm going to speak up regardless. Like I said, I'm always one for speaking up. And if it's a marriage that some of you women want, and I know it is, you're not going to find that marriage by deluding yourselves into thinking that you have the power over the man and that you are in fact in control of the marriage. And I will, however, share biblical scriptures along with passages at a later date today, putting this delusion to bed once and for all, putting this nail in the coffin to permanently shut it down, so that you can see for yourselves just how foolish you sound. And I mean that in a banterful tone, by the way. But yeah, there you have it. So I don't want to hear women say that, you know, they are in control of the man, they're in control of the wedding and the marriage and all of this nonsense, because that's all it is. It's nonsense. It's an outdated belief that's been drilled into so many today due to years of propaganda and brainwashing. Nothing more, nothing less. I have a belief now, right, that a nuke bomb is literally gonna drop right in this park where I sit, which I already know is bollocks, because one, I would have heard the high-pitched whistle as it was dropping by now, and two, I would have actually noticed an animal, or better yet, I can't even pronounce the word, an object, just say object. I would have seen an object in the sky to resemble that we were in danger of some kind, right? In other words, to cut a long story short, and without coming off as though I'm waffling, just because I have a belief that there's a nuke bomb about to drop now, doesn't necessarily make it true. Because one, like I said, I don't hear the high-pitched whistle. Two, I don't see any object in the sky, regardless of height and magnitude, although they're both the same, to resemble that we're in danger. And three, it's nothing more than a belief. Just because it's a belief, like I said, does not, and I repeat, not necessarily make it true. And that's what people need to wake up and get inside their heads today. If people studied the scriptures, and only the scriptures, applied it to their lives, one, they wouldn't, be delusional for one into believing their own outdated beliefs that I've already challenged on numerous occasions and shut down, to say the least, and they would actually come to accept the truth, whether they like the idea or not. And there you have it, folks. So for you women out there, if you want a husband and you want a marriage, which I know a small percentage of you do, then you're going to have to lose this mindset of wanting to be in control, or better yet, in power of the man. You want to lose this mindset of being in control of the marriage, bringing home the bacon, the big bad, boss bitch babe kind of mentality. You need to lose it, because it's a delusion. And I don't know how many more times I have to get this out. I could share, like I said, biblical scriptures that shut each and every one of you down, because I have the facts. And if the facts in the gospel tell me that the vast majority of you women are delusional, then I'm going to pull you up on it. So, you know, there you have it. And that's to the guys out there. If you're still delusional into believing, like, you know, the woman is in control of the marriage and that she's the head of the man and the household and all of this, technically, to some extent, if she had families or if she had kids, then yeah, she would be, you know, in control of the household, I guess, to some degree. But the point I'm trying to make is that for any guys to believe, even to this day, that the woman has the control, for one, she has the authority as to what comes and goes in the marriage, or whether or not the marriage, you know, goes ahead, or whether or not she has power and control over the man. You need to give your heads a good shake, because this is lies of the devil. I'm not here for jokes. I'm not here for, you know, having a laugh. I'm not even here to basically show the world that, you know, I'm just waffling on. Because let me tell each and every one of you now, those that are delusional and those that are living under the devil's spell would only condition me, or try to condition me at least, into believing that I'm the crazy one. And I have no clue as to what I'm talking about, when the scripture evidently suggests that it is in fact the world that conditioned me of these things that are delusional. And in some cases, if not most, far gone and beyond saving. Beyond, you know, from pulling out the pulpits. Let me tell each and every one of you that much. So, there you have it, folks. Stay tuned, like I said. And I will share some scriptures later on, within, you know, the afternoon, regarding the facts. And if the gospel facts were, what's the word I'm looking for? In other words, if they were already predestined, as well as witnessed within both the years upon Christ arriving, and also the years of Christ dying, as you will, and resurrecting. And I've lost trail of thought. This is what happens, you know, when the world is constantly trying to fucking drag you into believing false narratives that you know are false. So, from my perspective, give it up. You're not going to win. This is a forever losing battle that people are going to lose, because I'm armed and I am equipped with what the gospel evidently proves to be true. And if the gospel proves it to be true due to eyewitnesses of Christ himself, then I'm going to basically go with what the gospel teaches me, and not what man and woman are trying to get inside my head to condition me to believe. Because they are, like I said, delusions. Nothing more, nothing less. Just because you have a belief doesn't necessarily make it true. Like I said, I have a belief that a nuke bomb is about to drop now from the sky, which I know is bollocks, like I said, because one, I don't hear no high-pitched frequency to resemble a bomb dropping. Two, I don't see an object in the sky to resemble that we're in great danger on a mass scale. And three, just because it's a belief doesn't necessarily make it true. In other words, without discernment, people are forever going to remain trapped in this belief that they know what they're talking about, that their belief matters, their belief is true, when the gospel evidently proves on a mass scale that is nothing more than delusion talking on behalf of, the vast majority of women and the guys that actually lap this nonsense up, that lap it up. You're not even a real man. If you guys lap this nonsense up and, you don't even pull, the women up on it, you're not of my congregation. You're weak as, I'm not going to say the word, trying to keep it clean due to, not knowing who's watching the videos nowadays. But you're delusional as hell. And you need to give your head a good shake. You need to study the gospel, apply the gospel to your lives, and you will not be as easily deceived into believing lies when the gospel has the facts. Because an argument without facts, let me tell each and every one of you now, is a wasted debate. Because you're debating someone that happens to have the facts to basically put a wrap to the debate that people are trying to inflict. Because let's face it, people only start shit, pardon my language, just for a bit of attention nowadays, because that's the kind of world we live in. We live in an attention-seeking world. Gone are the days when people can actually be real and be civil and strike a decent conversation, putting, any indifferences aside to actually work with one another in regards to helping one another become the way that the gospel created us. And there it is. That's a wrap.